In this lesson, we are going to learn how to simplify rational expressions. Rational expressions have both the numerator and the denominator as polynomials. So the first thing that we want to do is to write each polynomial in factor form. So we can write x squared minus 9 as x squared minus 3 to the second power. And we're going to leave the denominator as it is. Right now, there's nothing we can do there. But we can work on the numerator and we can apply the difference of squares formula here. So we can write this as x plus 3 times x minus 3. Everything over x plus 3. Now we notice that the numerator and the denominator have a common factor, which is binomial x plus 3. So we can cancel those two common factors, x minus 3 over 1, which is x minus 3, which is the simplest form. Now, we do have to set a very important condition. We know that any fraction that has a denominator of 0 is undefined. So we have to remove those x values that would make the denominator become 0. And that happens when x is negative 3, right? Negative 3 plus 3 is 0. And for that particular value, the fraction would be undefined. So let's go ahead and set that very important condition that x should not be equal to negative 3. In this second example, both the numerator and the denominator are quadratic trinomials. So we need to factor them out. So let's think of how can we write this polynomial here as a product of two binomials. So we are looking for two numbers whose product is positive 3, the constant term, and whose sum is this middle coefficient, number 4. Those numbers are 1 and 3. So we're going to write the first one here and the second number here. So this trinomial can be written as a product between x plus 1 and x plus 3. Similarly, for the denominator, we are going to look for two numbers. Each of them will go in one of these parentheses. We want the product of those two numbers to be the constant term, which is positive 6. And we want the sum of those two numbers to be the middle coefficient, which is 5. So if you think about it, the only two numbers that meet both of these conditions are positive 2 and positive 3. So we're going to write each of those numbers in one of these parentheses. Now that both the numerator and the denominator are in factored form, we can see that they do have a common factor, and that common factor is binomial x plus 3. So let's go ahead and simplify by the common factor, and we are left with x plus 1 over x plus 2, which is the simplified form of our initial expression. Now, let's not forget to remove those values that would make the denominator 0 in the initial expression. So remove those x values for which the initial expression is undefined. And that happens when x is negative 2, this parenthesis becomes 0. And also it happens when x is negative 3. So let's go ahead and set the condition that x should not be equal to negative 3 and x should not be equal to negative 2.